All right, folks, I think we might be on, actually, and you're going to have to tell us here in a minute. This is Angel Soriano, a.k.a. Dogman. Welcome to this segment of Ask the Dogman. So, if this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you how this works. It's pretty simple. This is a questions and answer show. We offer solutions to your canine behaviors or training questions you may have. We do it live, which means that anything can go wrong, okay? And sometimes it does, and actually it often does. So, please do us a favor and go into the comment section below somewhere over here and just comment that you can hear us or that you can see us to make sure that we're truly on live. I'm actually seeing some happy faces, so this is good. I have the monitor over here on the side so I can see it. So this is really good. Okay, thank you. We're doing this every 2 weeks, just a quick reminder, and we changed the schedule this week to be on a Tuesday night just to see if we can drag more of you into this. Saturdays is probably going to get bad during the football season and all the other stuff that happens during the summer. So we'll see what happens here on Tuesday evenings, and we'll let you guys decide, basically. So how does this work, you ask? Or you didn't ask, but I did. It's really simple. Just type in your question in the comment section below, and then between our producer here, James, and myself, we'll try to stay on top of it, and then we'll try to answer all those questions as quickly as we can in this 30-minute segment, okay? So it's pretty simple. Now, one little simple rule to this thing, and I think I mentioned it in the past, but please keep it clean. This is a family show, so there's obvious reasons for that. So we will post these segments at the end of this deal on YouTube, and the reason is that YouTube is our official archive. And by the way, it has a terrific search engine, so it's really good for you guys to be able to find stuff if you need it, right? And for ourselves as well. So anyway, that's the reason we like it. So let's not waste any more time and go straight to the first question. And I'm going to bump this, by the way, because a good friend of ours has a daughter that is also a good friend of ours. And that daughter knows some people in California. She knows people everywhere because she travels all the time. But anyway, I'm going to bump the first question simply because I want to answer Carrie's question that came from Brooke, her good friend. Anyway, just got the question here. I think it was yesterday. And Winnie is the name of the dog, as I recall. And it's a 10-month-old lab. Actually, let me read it. Let's see. It says, Winnie is a 10-month-old lab that growls and barks at people during walks and when people visit the home. Okay, so that's the question that our friends in California are posting. By the way, we're honored to have reached another time zone. So thank you, Carrie. You're helping us here. Hopefully we can reach New York in the next one of your trips. So the question, whenever you get into aggression, deals with how established is this behavioral pattern, right? So I have to guess that a puppy at 10 months of age does not have any established behavioral patterns. They're beginning to get established, okay? So because of it, I would offer that, you know, this is not established pattern. It's happening and may feel like it's established, but why is it happening? Look, puppies go through what's called a fear stage. You know, kids go through it, puppies go through it. And it does go away, typically. Sometimes it doesn't, and if it doesn't, we need to address it, which is what I'm going to attempt to do here in this little rant or discussion. So unintentionally, what could be happening in your household is that unintentionally you could be rewarding the wrong behavior. Okay, I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm sitting here most likely 1,500 miles away, but the point here is that if you reward the dog at the wrong time during a bad behavior and an unwelcome behavior, they're going to repeat it. Let me explain what I mean by that. If Winnie, on her first encounter with somebody, decided to bark and growl, and the owners, decided that they grabbed the dog, they grabbed Winnie, and they said, oh my gosh, no, hang on, this is the neighbor, and it's okay, let me comfort you, okay? Comfort to a dog is equal to reward. So if you were touching this dog when Winnie was barking and growling and carrying on to a friend, then Winnie's going to repeat it. Okay, it's pretty simple. That's how they're wired. So my input to you is stop touching the dog when it's performing incorrectly. If this animal is barking and growling at your friends, that's not a good time to touch. Now, it is a good time to interrupt. Okay, you can verbally interrupt this dog. You can clap. You can do anything that is different than what Winnie is used to, and she's going to stop. Your job is to wait for 3 to 5 seconds after she has stopped, and then reward this new behavior after it's quiet, right? So you're really rewarding the 3 to 5 seconds of quietness, not the barking and growling that just took place. Repeat this over and over and over again with friends on walks. The problem will probably go away. Okay, I'm not too concerned about it. It's a non-established issue due to the fact that the dog is so young. Now, the key here is you need to be consistent. Regardless of how you got here, you better be consistent. From this day forward, you cannot allow this dog to bark and growl at your friends at home, whether you're on a walk, wherever you're at. Interrupt it. It'll go away as long as you stay on top of that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. Hopefully that helps. If there's a different twist to this, because this went from a friend to a friend to a friend, if there's a different twist to this, go ahead and type in the comments section and we'll go ahead and come back to you. So, all right, let's see. Rachel online says, we have a GSD and our neighbor has 2 small Yorkies. Is there a way to stop them from barking like crazy at each other through the fence? Do we introduce them? That's a really good question. I get a lot of questions regarding fence barking, loud behavior, etc. Okay, look, it's life with dogs. A couple of things. One is you could try to introduce these animals and see what's going on. Okay, I would first make sure that none of these dogs are dog aggressive, okay, and do this systematically. Introduce them slowly, introduce them on a leash, all of them, and see if there's an aggression that goes on, or is this just happy fence fighting that is going on. Okay, go through those steps. That's an important thing to do. Almost always, by the way, if you're able to make friends with them, then the barking intensity is going to change. It's probably, they're probably having fun, by the way. If this is, unless it's aggressive barking, they're probably having a lot of fun. So the intensity may change to be more of a yap, right? More of a happy bark instead of a deep voice type barking. But that's one thing you could do. Now, if the dogs are aggressive with each other and you're not able to introduce them, then there's a different issue going on here, and you need to go work some fence issues, right? And you can start some interruption sequences with your dog, but you need your neighbor to help, right? Your neighbor has to do the same thing with theirs. Any one of us here can help you. Anybody in the business most likely should be able to help you in how to put together an interruption sequence at the fence line, right? And eventually the dogs get it. They know that, hey, they cannot bark. Interesting enough, I have not a similar situation, but I have one fence that my dogs will not bark at all. They leave it alone, and that's because I've worked that fence a lot more. And the other one, they're a lot happier, okay? So I need to go work that fence. So understand they get it, right? Hopefully this will help you out here. Let's see, I have another one from Samantha. We have done a lot of training, including boarding school with our puppy with you. All trainers are amazing. Wow, this is a plug. I love it. We have an older dog who is not fond of our puppy. We've had the puppy a year now. The older kiddo is barking, and doesn't want anything to do with any of us. How do we make him stop our... Let's see, how do we make him stop our older guy from destroying our things and his marking, warming up to our puppy, etc., etc.? Okay, wow. I'll tell you, my first answer is going to be, give us a call. There may be some intensity to this issue here, and we probably need to get to it. Just flying high, if you were to ask me to do that for the sake of this show, then I would say there may be an alpha struggle going on, especially since you brought a new dog into the family. Typically, there is a struggle in placement as to who's above whom. And if this puppy, the younger dog, received more attention at any given time than the older dog, there's a good likelihood that the older dog is trying to set the record straight. Not a pretty thing, especially if he's marking and destroying things, but there may be an alpha struggle going on with the two dogs, even if it's minor. Typically what happens is that you end up with a dog that does damage. So, I hate to say it this way, just give us a call. Let's talk it through and get to the bottom line. But if it is an alpha struggle, it's going to turn out to be that we need to identify who is the alpha dog, which I'd be willing to bet that is your older one. And we need to reestablish that. He needs to understand that he is alpha dog. He doesn't have to mark anything around the house to remain the alpha dog. And then the younger dog obviously needs to be demoted, right? And there's no pain or suffering involved in a demotion. It's just simply a demotion. By the way, most puppies you get in a household are automatically promoted when you get them. And that's because you carry them, you love them, you give them attention, and you protect them from every other animal or even kid in the house. So they get promoted pretty easily, right? Now, you do this because you don't want them to get hurt, right? That's the right thing to do. But you do end up with a problem there. So anyway, that's something to think about. Hopefully that addresses it, Samantha. I hope that does a little bit more, or gives you a little bit more information. So anyway, let's see. Do we have another one?
You had a second question?
Yeah, I do actually. I have a second question that came in from Peggy. And Peggy reads, or writes, and I read, how can I break my dog from eating my other dog's poop? Oh, that's disgusting. I try my best to pick it up quickly, but unfortunately that doesn't always happen. Also, are there any health concerns with it? It makes me sick. Boy, Peggy, you're so correct. Yeah, it makes me sick even thinking about it, but I've been in the business long enough. Yes, there are several health concerns, okay? Not the least horribly bad breath, but the condition I believe is called coprophagia. Coprophagia, I think is what it's called. And it's really the consumption of feces, okay? Dogs do their own. They'll do their neighbors. They'll do, a buddy. It's a hard thing to sometimes get on top of, but the first question we need to ask ourselves is why is this dog doing it? Okay, I can think of 3 real reasons right off the bat where they could be doing it. Okay, or possibly the reasons they could be doing it. We'll start with the first one, which is the behavioral reason, and that is this dog hiding evidence? Okay, hiding evidence starts as a puppy, meaning that if this dog got in trouble as a puppy by pooping inside the house, they finally convinced themselves that the best way not to get in trouble is to eat the evidence. So even if they poop in the house, they eat the evidence. They don't get the potty training early on. Now, what happens is sometimes they stick to this problem, they keep this behavior over time, and they'll be outside still doing it because they got used to eating feces. So is it a behavioral issue? Is there some history that did you have potty training issues at the very beginning? If you did, then there's probably a problem here relating to behavior, okay? The next item I can think of right off the top of my head is this animal hunting for tasty leftovers? Sounds pretty disgusting, but is there something that is not being consumed in the food by your other dog? Because you mentioned, I think, that it's eating your other dog's poop. So is there something not being consumed properly? Is this an older dog that is not processing food properly? I'll explain here in a second how to get to the bottom of that one. And then the last one is there a dietary issue? Meaning, is your dog lacking something that it's trying to get? Now, when it's a dietary issue, they'll also supplement with grass in a plant or something else in the backyard. So you'll see them eating other weird stuff. Typically, that's more of a dietary issue where they're lacking something in their life, and as a result of it, they are trying different things. So those are the top 3 that I can think of. Now, you're looking for a fix, so I'm going to try to get to that. First of all, you need to try a deterrent. Okay, if you want to look around the house, meat tenderizer, if you throw it on their food, is a good deterrent. Unsweetened pumpkin and unsweetened pineapple, the stuff that comes in cans, that's also a good deterrent. You mix that with their food and you let them have it. I think you should feed all the dogs in the house with it, and just mix it in there. The intent is that I guess it changes the taste of the feces to make it less attractive. I have a hard time with the attraction point there, but nonetheless, it makes it, to the point where they want to eat it less. Okay, so try a deterrent. Now, if you don't want to do all this mixing and stuff, they do have some commercial deterrents available. I'm not going to directly endorse any one of them. Just do a Google search for coprophagia deterrents, and you'll get a huge list of commercial products. By the way, talk to your veterinarian. That's what they're there for. Okay, they want to help you. They will probably recommend 1 or 2 of their products or someone's product that'll probably help you, right? So now, assuming you're able to start this conditioning exercise with a deterrent, then immediately after that, you need to start evaluating the food you're giving them. So make sure you read the label, or better yet, just go to a good feed store and ask them, look, read this label. Am I feeding the right food for my dog type, their natural drive, and the age of my dog? And they'll probably tell you. Okay, they know their stuff pretty good. They know their labels. The next step really quick is you need to go inspect all the fresh droppings in the backyard. This is a really pretty assignment. You get yourself a nice long stick and go to every pile you have in the back that is nicely fresh, move it around, and see what's in it. By the way, do this alone. Don't have your dog with you, because now you're going to create another behavioral issue because of the competition, right? So remember that. So what you need to do is just move it around and see, is there anything in this excrement that you want that should not be there, right? Are there chunks that you would say, hey, what's in here? What is this? It's going to be hard to tell what it is unless it's obvious. If it's orange, then you know that, hey, this might be, a piece of carrot or something that was in the food. So pay attention to that. The reason is that if it's not digesting, there's a good likelihood that this is what your dog is also looking for. So if you find it, that's what they're looking for. And that might be the cause of the problem altogether. So if that is the case, you may want to even talk to your feed people and say, hey, help me out here. I found this picture, and they've seen this stuff. Just show them the picture and say, I found this yellow stuff. I found this. What do you think it is? They'll be able to put their finger on it, not literally, or literally, I should say, and let you know what they think of it, and then recommend a food that doesn't have it. Hopefully these tips will get you started. It's kind of a long-winded answer, but it's kind of a long-winded issue. Anyway, hope that helps, Peggy. Let's see what else we got. We have a Katie. Is there an H deadline with a dog to train her to alert me when high-pitched noises, alarm, etc. go off? She's almost 3. That's a really good question. Let me tell you what we normally do in the service arena, okay? Katie, typically we like training service dogs, or any dog that is going to do a high-quality job for us, such as a service dog, and it sounds like you need this as a service dog. We try to teach them early on, and we get this process going when they're puppies, right? And what I mean by that is we get the puppy stuff out of the way, and then we start them at 5 and 6 months of age, getting into the routine. And by about 2 years of age, we want to be done. Now, that's what we like doing, okay? So don't get me wrong about this. That's what we like doing. The reason we like doing that is because, they're fresh, they're ready, they're open-minded, they pick up on things, they want to learn. It's so happy to learn how to learn, right? If that makes sense. So that's why we do it, because we can get to the chase a lot quicker. Now, is there an age limit? The answer, I would probably say not, as long as you have a workaholic. Is your dog a worker, or is your dog lazy? Okay, so I don't want, trying not to offend. I'm just saying, is your dog a wired animal for work, right? How easy is it to teach him anything? Is he or she willing to jump and get on it, and, can we do this, right? Can this animal, learn things? So if your dog is driven, it doesn't matter if they're 3 or 4 or 5, they'll pick it up. It's just, test it out and see how that'll work. See if the dog will alert. You may want to do some complicated routines with your animal, or let somebody know, let somebody know that to help you with it. And if you put a complicated routine together, is the dog able to learn it and follow it? If they do, then your dog is fine. Don't sweat it. If not, then just know that's part of the reason why we like younger dogs, simply because they're a lot more driven and they have an open mind at that point. So anyway, I hope that helps you. Let's see. We have a Shannon. Why does my chihuahua growl only at night at my husband? He growls when he walks by, as well as when my husband brings me anything. Chihuahuas have a huge heart, Shannon. They're huge. I don't know the reason for the morning versus night. I can tell you that Chihuahuas are the type of dog that really get close to one owner, one member of the pack much more than the other. There are a lot of breeds that do that, but Chihuahuas is definitely one of them. So there's no question that this dog has a tighter relationship with you. Now, why is this happening only at night and not in the morning? It's hard to put your finger on it. Now, what I would do is that I would teach this dog not to do that. This is your husband, unless you don't like your husband either. So, but if not, then, start interrupting it. Let the dog know. Very soft interruptions. Let them know not to do this. When the dog doesn't do it, praise it, love it, even give it a treat for being a good dog. Okay. Be careful when you treat, by the way. If you're too quick to treat, the dog's going to growl on purpose to try to get a treat. So you're going to have to time that. Get the dog to stop. Once he has stopped, 3, 4, 5 seconds later, then, love him or treat him. So, Chihuahuas in most what I would call pocket breeds, guys. They grow to have giant hearts, and that's because every one of these dogs is anywhere between 4 to 6 foot tall because they get carried. They're pocket dogs, and as a result of it, they end up having huge hearts. They themselves think they're 4 to 6 feet tall, right? So anyway, that's something to think about. Shannon, I hope that helps you. The morning versus evening, I struggle with it myself too. I don't know. There's probably something behaviorally that took place sometime in the past where, in the morning it was not allowed, in the evening now it is. I don't know. So think that through. Let's see. All right. Hope that helps. Let's see. The monitor says Stephen David Cook. I love it. Hello, Steve. This is great. My sister Rachel brings her dog to work and it runs away from me and barks at me. I've never heard it. Obviously, any ideas? Sure, you didn't heard it, Steve. Anyway, this would go a lot better if he was sitting right next to me like he was a couple of weeks ago, so we can jaw at each other. Steve, I don't know. A couple of things that come to mind. I mean, I don't mind saying I don't know, by the way. A couple of things that come to mind. One is that you're probably dealing with a nervy dog. What I mean by that is just a dog that has a disposition that is jumpy, skittish, nervy, etc. Could be genetic. It could be environmental. Who knows? It may have happened over time. As to why this dog runs away from you, I don't know the background as to, is this an adopted dog that maybe was raised in a house where he had a bad experience? Or is this a dog that basically it was just nervy from day one and it's got this problem? But as a result of it, a nervy dog or a jumpy dog, skittish dog is going to be afraid of things that are not normal in their day. So if he's used to your sister, then he's probably okay with females, I would guess. If he has a male figure in his life, he's probably okay with that size and figure and height and voice. And anything different, he's going to have a problem with. So I'm not exactly sure why this is going on. Now, how do you fix it? That would be the question, Steve. I would say you need to spend a lot more time with your sister's dog, okay? And that's without her. I would urge you to put a leash on him, put a collar on him, and just take him for a quick walk. If he doesn't want to, then let him drag you. That's fine. And if you can get 2 or 3 steps, then give him a treat as a result of it. Start making friends with him, okay? So, the best way to do it is to try to get to his heart through his stomach. It works for me, okay? So anyway, I hope that helps, my friend. Pop another question whenever you get a chance. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see. Well, I have another one here. I'm trying to find it. There it is. So somebody, and I don't know if it was, let's see. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago that we got this in a note, and the note was, hey, where did this dogman persona come from? And I wanted to cover it a couple of weeks ago, and then we got super busy and super involved. So just a little background, nothing huge, nothing big. A couple of friends and myself, a gentleman by the name of Conrad, and my neighbor Terry, the three of us used to do a lot of, just casual, cocktail in front of the house over in my neighborhood, and occasionally followed by a cigar, and we just sit there and talk and discuss things over life. And anyway, long story short, this Dogman title came out. Conrad, by the way, was the editor to a newspaper, and at the time I was writing an article for him that was it turned out that it started being called, Dogman or Ask the Dogman, etc. So that's where it really originated. And then, of course, the persona, the name itself, it started there. So anyway, long story short, that's where it started. There's no real other meaning to it. It's just 3 old boys getting together doing the wrong thing in the evening one night, and the name got invented. And I have no idea who did it. It was one of those 3, or the 3 of us, or the alcohol. I have no idea how we got there. So let's see, what else we have? We have Angela. Is that Angela asking a question? Let's see. She says, I know how to break up a dog fight. I know you do. You've taken a bunch of our classes. And let's see. Just thought it would be a good... missed it.
There. That was her question.
What was it?
It's on there now.
I do not see the question, Mr. Producer. Nope.
She wanted you to explain how to break up a dog fight.
Okay, got it. Okay. So, Angela, thank you so much. That is a really good question. We cover it in every class in this place, and that's because, you will be in a dog fight. If you own a dog, you will be in a dog fight. That's the unfortunate part. Other people don't know how to do things. Other people don't know how to watch their dogs, and as a result of it, you're going to have a problem. So the best way to break up a dog fight in our little world is something that we call the wheelbarrow pull. Okay, and that's, think of it, the wheelbarrow, how you pick it up. Think of those being the back legs of your dog. Typically, you need two people. If you go to a dog park and the dogs are playing, by the way, I see more fights in a dog park than anywhere else. So if you have a couple of dogs playing and all of a sudden they start mixing it up, then you need to get the other person involved in this too. Each person grabs their own dog by the back legs. Okay, you pick them up nice and high. If it's a little dog, you don't dangle them. You just pick it up about half their height. The idea is you need to pick up their back legs. Most dogs act very strange. They've never had this before, and as a result of it, they don't move very well, and they're much more worried about you behind them. If this is your own dog, you're not going to get bitten, right? By the way, that's the safest way there is, even if it's not your dog. It's the furthest part from the dog, and as long as you grab those legs and start walking backwards slowly, this dog cannot get to you. Once they've cooled off, you can put your hands on the collar and walk away. Try not to do this unless you have a second person, because the other dog will have the advantage if you're doing this to yours, right? That's not a good idea. So what you do is you grab and you tell the other person, do the same, grab the back legs, do it, get it behind you. You'll be shocked. It's an easy way to get this stopped, okay? Don't let the fight continue going on. It's crazy. I've heard people saying, "Oh, let them work it out and they'll establish a role or whatever." Look, I've seen dogs absolutely destroy each other because of it, right? Because of a dominance issue. So there's no reason for that. Especially if you're at a dog park, you do not know who you're dealing with, right? You just don't know which dog you came across. So anyway, thank you, Angela, for coaching us on that one. That was a really good question.
And I've linked our online document in the comments.
Our producer says he has linked our document on how to stop a dog fight to our comment section. So just make sure if you want it, go click it. You can get it downloaded. That's pretty cool. Wow, this is real big world here. Wow. So I think we're running out of time. We're trying to be respectful of time here, and we're 2 minutes away from cutoff. So there you have it, my friends. Thank you again for tuning in to Ask the DogMan. By the way, I have a blast doing this kind of stuff. We do appreciate you being here. It's kind of fun, okay? We'll be back in 2 weeks again. This one is going to be on Tuesday, February the 13th at 6:30. And look for a Facebook event announcement. We like doing those, making sure that it gets on your calendar. Remember, friends, if you like this segment, tell your friends, share it, give us a like. That's all we're asked for. And then watch us again, right, when we come back. You can also go to YouTube and subscribe. You can also, let's see, what else? Oh, you can also go to our website and subscribe to our email so we can hear all this stuff. This is all my sales, by the way. And that's it. I have one parting question for you, please. We've answered some questions for you. Hopefully you can answer one for me. And that is, if this was your show, what would you do to make it better? Right? So just let it rip. Put it in the comments section. It would make me a much better person for the next time we do this. So again, this is Angel Soriano, aka Dogman, barking back at you from K9U in Oklahoma City. You asked, we answered.